Developing Capacity for Greatness. Keys to Unleashing Your Greatness Series, Part 6. Build Wealth, Build Your Life. Written by Daniel Eremasele. Chapter 6. Building Production Capacity. Success in life is largely dependent on your capacity for productivity. To succeed, you must be able to create, cultivate, organize, improve or produce something valuable. Productivity means turning your time, energy, knowledge and available resources into meaningful results. A productive person does not merely remain active. That person engages in activities that contribute to definite objectives. There is a difference between activity and productivity. Activity is being involved in something, while productivity is producing the intended result. You can be busy throughout the day without accomplishing anything significant. You can attend many meetings, make numerous telephone calls and move from one place to another without moving closer to your principal objectives. Productivity requires focus. It demands that your actions be connected to your purpose. To be successful, you must become productive by learning how to work with your hands and mind. Your hands are gifts from God, and engaging them in productive work demonstrates gratitude for that gift. The scripture says, "Let the beauty of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us, yea, the work of our hands establish thou it." Psalm 90:17. The psalmist did not ask God to establish empty wishes. He asked God to establish the work of his hands. God blesses work. He empowers effort that is directed by faith, wisdom and righteousness. Your hands represent your ability to act, build, serve and produce. They symbolize the practical application of your thoughts and intentions. A vision may begin in your heart, but your hands must become involved in turning it into reality. Faith may show you what is possible, but disciplined action is required to bring it into physical manifestation. A productive person is resourceful. Resourcefulness is the ability to find intelligent and practical ways of overcoming difficulties and accomplishing objectives. When you become resourceful, you do not allow every limitation to become a permanent excuse. You examine what is available and ask how it can be used wisely. Resourceful people may not possess everything they desire, but they make responsible use of what they have. They are willing to learn, adapt and develop solutions. Resourcefulness leads to industriousness. An industrious person is diligent, hardworking and committed to productive activity. God created human beings to be productive. Productivity is not a punishment, it is part of our original purpose. Before the fall of man, Adam was given work. He was placed in the Garden of Eden to dress and keep it. Work existed before sin. Therefore, meaningful work is part of God's design for human fulfillment. The frustration, exhaustion and oppression sometimes connected to labor resulted from the fall, but work itself remains honorable. Through work, human beings participate in developing creation. We cultivate land, build homes, produce food, care for others, develop technology and organize society. Work gives expression to the gifts and ideas God has placed within us. The command to be fruitful. The scripture says, "And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion." Genesis 1:28. God's first words to humanity included both blessing and responsibility. He blessed them and commanded them to be fruitful. Fruitfulness means more than biological reproduction. It includes productivity, multiplication and the responsible development of resources. God expected humanity to take the potential contained in creation and bring it into greater expression. A seed contains potential, but the seed must be planted and cultivated. Land contains resources, but it must be explored and responsibly developed. The mind possesses creative capacity, but it must be educated and exercised. The blessing of God was intended to empower humanity for a productive assignment. The command to multiply teaches that what is productive should be increased. The instruction to replenish the earth reveals our responsibility to fill the world with valuable results. To subdue means to bring the undeveloped condition of the earth under responsible management. Dominion is not permission to destroy creation or oppress people. It is the authority to provide wise leadership and stewardship. God entrusted humanity with the responsibility of managing the resources of the earth. This assignment requires wisdom, knowledge, discipline and creativity. Fruitfulness is evidence that potential has been developed. A fruit tree is recognized by the fruit it produces. In the same way, Your gifts become visible through the results they generate. People may not initially recognize the hidden abilities within you. However, when those abilities are developed and expressed through valuable work, the results become visible. Your fruit speaks for you. If you are gifted in leadership, the fruit should be seen in people and organizations that improve under your guidance. If you are gifted in teaching, the fruit should appear in the understanding and transformation of those you teach. If you are gifted in business, the fruit should include useful products, satisfied customers, employment opportunities and sustainable growth. Potential is important, but fruitfulness is the evidence that potential has been responsibly used. Productivity and creativity. Productivity is a function of creativity, and creativity is connected to your imaginative capacity. Creativity is the ability to develop new ideas or find improved ways of doing things. It enables you to combine knowledge, experience and available resources to produce something useful. Your success in life is connected to your capability for productivity. Your output is influenced by your efficiency, and efficiency is strengthened by knowledge and skill. Success is built upon your capacity to live productively. The outcome of your life is connected to the investments you make in it. Your life contains the potential for greatness, but that potential must be developed before it can produce industrial or economic value. The same principle applies to nations. Every nation possesses human and natural resources, but not every nation becomes industrious. To become industrious requires organized effort, developed people, productive institutions and a commitment to achieving clearly defined objectives. Success is the desire of many people, but when the fundamental requirements for achieving an objective are absent, the fulfillment of that dream becomes difficult. The desire to become an industrial nation cannot be fulfilled by declarations alone. Production facilities must be established. Infrastructure must be developed. People must be educated, and institutions must function effectively. In the same way, an individual cannot become productive merely by speaking about success. The person must develop the ability, discipline and knowledge required to produce results. Dreams need capacity. Vision requires preparation. Purpose demands productivity. The dignity of productive work. Productive work has dignity because it enables you to contribute to the well-being of others. When you produce food, you help sustain life. When you build homes, you provide shelter. When you teach, you develop human understanding. When you practice medicine, you contribute to health and longevity. No honest and useful work should be considered insignificant. Society cannot function through the work of highly visible people alone. It also depends on farmers, cleaners, drivers, builders, technicians, caregivers and many others whose efforts may not receive public recognition. Every legitimate assignment that contributes value deserves respect. The Apostle Paul wrote, "And that ye study to be quiet, and to do your own business, and to work with your own hands." 1 Thessalonians 4:11. This instruction encourages responsibility and productive independence. It teaches believers to become diligent and committed to their work. The scripture does not support laziness. While we are commanded to care for the vulnerable, we must not glorify an unwillingness to work. Paul also wrote, "For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat." 2 Thessalonians 3:10. This passage refers to those who are capable of working but deliberately refuse to do so. It does not condemn those who cannot work because of illness, disability, unemployment or circumstances beyond their control. The church and society have a responsibility to support people facing genuine hardship. At the same time, those who possess the capacity to work should be encouraged to develop and use it. Economic empowerment should not create permanent dependency where productivity can be developed. It should help people discover their ability, acquire skills and become capable of contributing meaningfully. Understanding production capacity. Production capacity is the ability of an individual, organization or nation to produce goods and services within a particular period. For an individual, production capacity includes the amount and quality of work the person can perform. It is influenced by health, knowledge, skill, tools, systems, time and experience. For a business, production capacity is affected by equipment, facilities, employees, technology, finance, supply chains and management. For a nation, production capacity involves infrastructure, education, industry, energy, transportation, technology, governance and the competence of its citizens. Production capacity determines how effectively resources can be converted into finished products. A country may possess abundant raw materials but remain economically weak if it lacks the ability to process them. Another country with fewer natural resources may become prosperous because it has developed the knowledge and technology required to create high-value products. The value of raw materials often increases as they pass through stages of processing. Cotton in its raw form has value, but when it is processed into fabric and transformed into quality clothing, its economic value increases. Cocoa has value as an agricultural product, but additional value is created when it is processed, packaged and transformed into finished food products. Crude oil possesses value, but refined petroleum products and petrochemical goods may carry greater economic value. The nations and organizations that control the processes of transformation often obtain a larger portion of the economic benefits. The lesson is clear: it is not enough to possess resources. You must develop the capacity to transform them. From raw material to finished product. Every finished product begins at a raw stage. Products are raw materials that have passed through a process to become suitable for use. Your talents, gifts and potential are raw materials. They must pass through development before they become finished products that people can confidently purchase or use. Not everyone is interested in raw materials. The marketplace generally rewards processed value. Consider the example of a seed. People do not ordinarily eat every seed in its raw state. Some seeds are planted in the ground. They germinate, grow into trees and eventually produce fruit. The seed contains potential, but that potential needs the right environment and process. Planting is necessary. Watering is necessary. Sunlight, time and cultivation are necessary. The farmer must also protect the growing plant from conditions that may destroy it. Only after passing through these stages does the seed become a fruitful tree. The process of developing your gifts is similar. The gift is the seed. Training is the planting. Practice is the watering. Mentorship provides cultivation. Experience strengthens the roots, while perseverance protects the developing gift during difficult seasons. Eventually, the gift produces fruit. Many people become discouraged because they want fruit without accepting the process of cultivation. They want public recognition before private development. They want the harvest but resist the planting season. They desire the rewards of mastery without embracing the discipline of practice. You cannot violate the process and expect to produce a dependable result. Every great achievement has a history that may not be visible to the public. People see the final product, but they may not see the years of preparation behind it. They see the successful business but not the sleepless nights, rejected proposals, mistakes and sacrifices. They hear the powerful speaker but do not see the years spent reading, preparing and learning to communicate. They admire the finished book but do not see the many hours of writing, editing and rewriting. Do not compare your preparation season with another person's harvest season. Respect your process. The preparation season. When gifts, talents and abilities remain in a raw state, few people may appreciate or purchase them. Even you may not yet understand their value. Most people will not willingly invest in you while your ability remains undeveloped. This does not necessarily mean that they hate you or do not believe in your future. They may simply be unable to depend on your present level of performance. For people to invest in you or buy into your idea, you must take the idea through a process of development and turn it into a useful product. The processing period may be called the season of preparation. Everyone passes through different seasons while becoming what God has ordained them to be. Preparation is an essential part of those seasons. During your preparation period, people may recognize that you possess potential, but they may not yet be able to place a price upon it. They may say that you are talented, but talent alone does not always create confidence. People need to know that you can deliver the expected result. During the preparation stage, do not become offended because people are not treating you as though you have already arrived. You will need some of those people later. Remain humble, keep learning and allow your results to speak at the appropriate time. The preparation season develops more than skill. It also develops patience, character, discipline and emotional stability. If you receive public recognition before developing private stability, the pressure of success may damage you. God may use hidden seasons to strengthen your roots before exposing your fruit to the world. A tree with shallow roots may fall when strong winds arise. In the same way, A person whose character has not been developed may collapse when confronted by the pressures that accompany influence and prosperity. Do not pray only for visibility. Pray for stability. Do not desire only an open door. Develop the wisdom required to behave responsibly after the door opens. Preparation helps you become equal to the opportunity you are expecting. Processing your potential. The process of developing potential includes discovery, education, training, practice, evaluation and refinement. First, you must discover what has been placed within you. Pay attention to the abilities that appear naturally, the problems that attract your concern and the activities that give you a sense of purpose. Discovery may also occur through service. As you participate in different responsibilities, you may recognize strengths that were previously hidden. Second, you must acquire knowledge. Natural ability needs information. Study the principles that govern your field. Third, submit yourself to training. Training provides structure and helps you avoid unnecessary mistakes. Fourth, practice consistently. Knowledge that is never applied will not become dependable skill. Fifth, evaluate your results. Ask what is working, what is not working and what requires improvement. Sixth, refine your product. Remove weaknesses, strengthen useful features and improve the experience of the people you serve. This process may need to be repeated many times. Development is rarely a straight line. You may encounter setbacks, corrections and unexpected lessons. Do not interpret every difficulty as evidence that you are on the wrong path. Some difficulties are part of the development process. Gold must pass through fire before its purity becomes evident. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Valuable products often require demanding processes. However, the suffering itself is not the purpose. The purpose is the development, strength and value that emerge when the process is handled wisely. Becoming a producer. To function at the production level, you must possess products or services that you have developed, or actively developing, for the marketplace. A producer does not wait for every condition to become perfect. A producer begins with available resources and grows through learning. Becoming a producer requires a change of mentality. You must move from asking only, "What can I receive?" to asking, "What can I contribute?" Consumers focus primarily on obtaining value. Producers focus on creating value. Every producer is also a consumer in some areas of life. There is nothing wrong with consumption. The problem arises when a person or nation consumes continually without developing the ability to produce. A consumer mentality creates dependency. A production mentality creates responsibility, innovation and economic strength. Ask yourself, what am I producing? Which need does my work meet? Who benefits from my knowledge and ability? How can I improve the value I contribute? What product or service can I develop from the treasures God has placed within me? These questions will awaken your productive consciousness. Nations at the production level. Nations that possess high production capacity often become global economic powers. They influence trade, technology, finance and international policy because they produce goods and services upon which other nations depend. They have developed industries, institutions, infrastructure and skilled populations capable of turning ideas and raw materials into valuable products. Such nations frequently become market regulators because of their influence over supply, technology and distribution. They are often found at the forefront of scientific research, manufacturing, transportation, medicine, communication and other essential industries. This position did not emerge from declarations alone. It was built through sustained investment in education, infrastructure, research, productive institutions and human development. Nations at the production level cultivate a culture that rewards useful knowledge, competence and innovation. They train engineers, technicians, scientists, educators, entrepreneurs and skilled workers. They build systems that allow ideas to be tested and transformed into products. They understand that national development is inseparable from human development. A developed nation is built by developed people. Buildings alone do not develop a nation. Modern roads and beautiful airports are important, but they must be supported by citizens who possess the competence and character required to use and maintain them. If the people remain undeveloped, infrastructure will eventually deteriorate, institutions will become weak and resources will be mismanaged. The strength of a nation is ultimately connected to the quality of its people and systems. Becoming a trailblazer. People and nations operating at the production level become trailblazers. A trailblazer is a pioneer, a person who creates a path where one did not previously exist. Trailblazers introduce new ideas, establish new standards and demonstrate possibilities that others may later follow. They are innovative and entrepreneurial in their approach. They do not merely accept the world as it is, they work to create a better version of what it can become. Trailblazers are architects and designers of their environments. They develop blueprints and work patiently to transform those plans into reality. They are originators and initiators of ideas. However, being a trailblazer is not about seeking attention or being different merely for the sake of appearing unique. True innovation must produce value. It should solve a problem, improve a process or open a productive path for others. A new idea is not necessarily a good idea. It must be tested by truth, usefulness, ethics and its effect on human life. Kingdom innovation should reflect love, justice and responsible stewardship. God can use you to pioneer something valuable within your profession, community or nation. You may be called to establish a business model, educational program, ministry, invention or social solution that does not presently exist in your environment. Do not be intimidated because nobody around you has done it before. Every existing innovation was once an unfamiliar idea. Someone had to believe that it was possible, develop the required capacity and take the first step. Your environment may explain your present limitations, but it does not have to imprison your future. Study what has been accomplished elsewhere. Learn from proven examples, but do not merely copy them. Adapt knowledge to the legitimate needs, values and conditions of your own environment. You can honor valuable traditions while also developing better methods. Productive advancement does not require you to reject everything from the past. It requires you to preserve what is useful, correct what is harmful and improve what can be made better. The responsibility to produce. Production capacity is both an opportunity and a responsibility. The gifts within you were not given for your benefit alone. They were entrusted to you because someone else may need the fruit they can produce. A person's life may be transformed by the book you have not yet written. A family may receive employment through the business you have not yet established. A community may benefit from the solution you have not yet developed. A generation may be inspired by the example you have not yet demonstrated. This is why burying your gifts is more serious than it first appears. When potential remains undeveloped, the world is deprived of the value it could have produced. You should not allow this truth to create unhealthy pressure or condemnation. Let it awaken a sense of responsible purpose. You are not expected to solve every problem. You are expected to be faithful within the area of your assignment. Discover your portion. Develop your capacity and contribute your best. God did not create you to be an imitation of another person. He created you with a particular combination of gifts, experiences and opportunities. Your assignment may appear small compared with someone else's, but faithful service can produce effects greater than you presently imagine. A small seed can become a great tree. A single idea can influence an industry. One trained person can teach thousands of others. Never underestimate the multiplying power of developed potential. We sincerely appreciate the time you have spent with us. We look forward to connecting with you again. Until then, remain blessed, continue exploring the treasures God has placed within you, and remember to listen to our other inspirational materials. We would be grateful to receive your feedback and hear how this audiobook has blessed, encouraged, or transformed your life. Please help us to like and subscribe to our channel to help us reach more people. Thank you once again.